Don't you know, many fighters have been killed by the Starfighter.
I mean, I kind of like Babidi. I think that his connection is interesting. He kind of serves the same function as Dr. Gero, but I've always kind of felt that Dr. Gero was a much better, mental villain than Babidi was. Why do you think that was? Is it the personal connection?
Well, despite Dr. Gero never appearing in the original Dragon Ball, I mean...
nah, he was there. Sure.
Well,
behind the scenes, he was the real guy.
Well, I think it's more creepier, than the fact that I've been spying on you since the very beginning, like with these android bugs, and to just create a science experiment out of the DNA of all the different characters.
So, it's pretty creepy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of creepy stuff, and the whole mad scientist approach with it, how he made all these machines that are capable of everything, and then again, when they showed up, it was a pretty violent scene with them killing these random people, and then Yamcha getting impaled like that.
You know what? I'm actually going to tell you something, Hero. There are a lot of really scary, violent moments in Dragon Ball, but I honestly think the darkest moment for me is that one you mentioned when 19 and 20 are just kind of going around the city, brutally murdering people, and that one scene where, like, Goku and everybody, they catch up to him after they, like, impale Yamcha, and they're like, oh, we gotta get him out of here, and the doctor was like, no need to do that. He's like, I will take care of it, and he just, like, literally just uses his I-beams to blow up, like, half the city, and then Goku punches him. He's like, why'd you do that? What are you doing? And he's like, I just did what you asked, Now there's no more innocence to worry about. I'm like, that is just cold, robotic evil. Like, that's like the evilest thing. It's more evil than Frieza because, like, Frieza will laugh about it. Dr. Gero just doesn't care. He doesn't even think they're, like, worth his time. Like, that's evil, dude.
Yeah, then just their eyes as well, because they have these black pupils, these blank stares. And actually, that's kind of what makes 17 and 18 and 16 like the down part of the arc, because they were not as despite being more powerful, they were nowhere near as threatening. And then, not to mention with 16, who clearly wasn't a bad person, despite the whole "I want to kill Goku" thing.
No, I mean, it was an interesting plot point that, like, the androids that they were supposed to be afraid of weren't really that bad. Like, you are right. They built up these two androids that were really evil, and then introduced them with ones that weren't really as big of a threat, and then all of a sudden there's Cell. I guess you could make the argument that that whole arc seems like it's just kind of filled with stuff that was just being made up at the spot, which it was, because of editing and stuff. But it's like, I think it's a very interesting because of it, but it's the most complicated, I think. Like, wait, there's these guys, there's actually this guy.
Yeah, because surprises keep popping up, because it all started with Trunks, I'm from the future, and then there's these androids, oh, those weren't the real androids, and I came from a different future. What?
What? Shanked Trunks, man. Shanked him.
I shanked it with my tail needle dick thing, I don't know.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, there's some disturbing imagery there. His
Cell was nasty.
Penis, vagina, freaking, ugh.
I'm gonna absorb you, 18.
Oh, man.
I'll create my own hentai.
Yeah, people... Cell's creepy. That's why I've always liked it, man. Cell is just he's a scary thing.
Yeah, but then once he transforms, all the scariness goes away.
He's like, he becomes a dumb guy, and then he becomes a really pompous guy. So Imperfect Cell is like the creepiest thing ever. But you're right.
The design
once again, it's kind of like the androids, man. It's kind of like a downgrade in a way.
Downgrade. Oh god, it's a very fitting term.
From a story point,
yeah. Well, actually, it does make sense, because the first one was like. Yeah, you're right onto something, because in his first basic form, when he was weaker, he was actually more desperate for survival, so he's doing a lot more tactics and a lot more evil, gruesome things. As how many people he's killed. He's killed more people when he was weaker than when he was almighty and powerful.
Because he didn't feel he needed to. Yeah, he became more pompous. You're right. He was more of an animal. He was creepy. He was a monster. He fed on people. I mean, he literally fed on their bodies and their souls, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like powering up and showing all like the people screaming from his ki. Like, that's some scary. I still think that's pretty scary, man.
It is. Well, that's the thing. Just like dark stuff in Dragon Ball, but it's like dark for a little bit and then it just disappears. never to be seen again.
Yeah, like, but there are like some little things like, oh god, that's really dark. Okay, it's still not that dark. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, you can never forget that sound effect. Whoop, 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 whoop.
And that animation of the businessman just getting like dissolved and shrinking into himself. I'm like, that is some horror, like
because even the imagery of just seeing people's clothes like everywhere in a ghost town.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's scary. I mean, that's good. Dragon Ball did horror pretty well with that arc for a while, anyway.
Yeah, we're back on the android, so yeah, 1920 should have been the main villain.
Well,
it should have just been 1920 and Cell. That was it. We didn't really need the other three.
Yeah, that's controversial.
Yeah, I know, but technically they don't really play their roles as villains that well. I mean, they played it better in the whole Trunks timeline, but in this one, no. Well, then again, even in the Trunks timeline, I just don't like the fact that the biggest baddies of the planet that put the human race into near extinction were just guys playing a game.
Teenage delinquents?
Yeah, just teenage delinquents. Like,
well, once again, you're right. It kind of scales back the power and the size of it all. Like, you go from demonic, super-powered alien emperor guy to teens.
Because even when because I remember the complaint with 1920s that they were just a fat guy and old guy, but admittedly, outside of their coldness, like 19 doesn't really offer much. But Giro, being the scientist that made all this shit possible, like he still holds up. But 19 was like, what can we do with 19? Like, unless they made him literally kill someone. I mean,
the thing about them, you're right. Oh, he almost did. He came closer to killing Goku than most people. That was a pretty creepy moment. So, I mean, I don't know.
But Merlin, remember the recycled animation in that fight?
Oh, yeah.
Even in Kai, it's still there. Because I remember you told me, like, even in Kai, they still couldn't edit all that out.
No, they couldn't do it. They could not do it. But maybe they should have just made them more powerful, made 19 like a little more of a threat, and then made Gero actually like more powerful, and then he gets defeated, and then Cell can come out when they think everything's safe.
Going back to the threat and danger of the question, 19 and 20 actually did a better job, and I just remember for another reason. Well, okay, remember the whole key thing that they couldn't detect them, and they start off already by attacking a city?
Yeah.
Remember the second thing that made them dangerous is the fact that they could absorb ki, and that's something that's never been seen in Dragon Ball before. Well, maybe Mr. Popo when he ate the Kamehameha, but yeah, no other character has been able to do that.
No, that was really interesting, because you remember, like, they solved a lot of their problems by, heck, I'm just going to use the big, powerful energy beam and take them out. You can't do that with these guys.
Yeah, and then the other androids don't have that. Instead, they have, like, limitless stamina, but technically 19 and 20 should have that also, given those cyborgs.
Yeah. And I don't know, man. I just think that the design of them seems more like, the cyborgs. They're kind of weird looking. 19's pale and very mechanical. They got the brains. They got the circuits. Like, they seem more threatening in some ways. Because they're not what you'd expect.
Yeah, because even their outfits has a little more... Maybe military is not the right word, but it definitely looks like a uniform compared to the,
some kind.
Yeah, what 17 and 18 are wearing. It's just like, I don't know, you could just think, oh, it's the anime version of Bride of Chucky. But even though they're, brother and sister, but whatever. But, yeah, maybe 1920 could have been the most... maybe, like, take a job on a different direction altogether. That could have been, like, the finale.
Oh, that would have been kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, because, I mean, it did look like it was intended at some... Maybe it was intended at some point for them to be the last villains of the series.
Actually, they were... I remember... There is, like, a list of it somewhere, Z probably knows, where, like, I think... And the entire time he was writing, I think there were 6 points that he was supposed to have it ended. I believe it was... Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but I think it was that first arc where it was just him wear oolong wishes for panties, because it wasn't supposed to be a long thing. And then it was like, okay, this is popular. I think it goes up to like maybe Demon King Piccolo or Junior, and then it was going to be Frieza. then it was going to be the androids, then it was going to be Cell, and then it was going to be Boo. So I think it was like 5 or 6 times that it was supposed to end, and the androids, the first 2 were them, and they changed them because of the design, and then they just decided to Cell because I guess he realized he wasn't making very threatening things again. But okay, here's another question for you. Maybe this would make everything mean more in terms of tension, but in your opinion, to make Dragon Ball like the tightest series you could, what do you think the best ending point really would have been, in your opinion?